Hey everyone, this is Rudy. It's March the 11th, the year 2017. Don't forget that the time tonight will jump forward an hour, so we're going to lose an hour's worth of sleep. We can cry about that later. But hey, Schuyler Barbeau called tonight. We always love talking to him. I learned a little bit about his case. My wife listened on the conversation. I don't think she's allowed to talk because he has to have approved contacts on his phone list. They're very, very strict with him. But she did listen, so I want her to participate if I misstate anything or she can add anything. But let's see. I said something like, "You've been in jail for over a year, and what about a fair and speedy trial?" And he said that he waived his. He said a lot of people ask him about that, and he said he waived his rights to a speedy trial because he's had such bad experiences with his lawyers, I guess the public pretenders, and that he wants to make sure that he has prepared properly. And so I think he mentioned at least 2 lawyers that he's been through, and I hope I'm just repeating what I think I heard during our conversation. But one of the lawyers actually, I think he said in July of last year, allowed the government to put a motion in limine, and many of you guys remember that word from when we did the Ken Hovind trial. But it's when you're pre-trial and the government puts in a motion before the trial even begins that certain topics are not to be allowed to be brought up, and the government basically banned the Constitution. If I'm not mistaken, that's what he told me, and specifically the Second Amendment, and that there will be no defense allowed by putting forth the Second Amendment to the Constitution, which is the recognized, approved, highest law of the land that all of our military and law enforcement officers take an oath to uphold. And so when I say that they're banning the Constitution with a motion in limine, many of you are hearing this for the first time, and I can just see the jaws dropping. Like, no, they wouldn't do that. That's shocking. There's no way they're going to ban a portion of the Constitution or the Constitution or any talk of the Constitution in a courtroom in the United States of America. It's already happened. It happened with Schaefer Cox. It happened with Ed Brown. I'm here to tell you it happens a lot more often than many people realize, and that's what Schuyler Barbeau just told me, that one of his public pretenders allowed that to happen. Not only that, it even gets worse, that the public pretender that he didn't even find out about it until October, but it happened in July of last year. And so Schuyler Barbeau, I guess, got really upset and said, "I got to go this thing pro se," and so that's what I think he's doing now. That was my impression from what he told me. Because I think that, I don't know if that motion limine is going to stand or if he'll get a way to take it out of the picture. But he said, don't worry so much about the fact that I've been in jail for over a year, that he waived his right because he wants to be prepared, and he's had such bad experiences with these lawyers. I told him in response that I'm 50 years old and I've never met a good lawyer my whole life. I thought that I did one time, but I was wrong. So, I once thought I met a good lawyer, but I found out later that that perception was absolutely mistaken. What else did we talk about? We talked about his mother. He has a huge blessing as a mom. Her name is Stacy Barbeau, and she is very supportive of her son. She's been leaving comments, and so I think Aaron and Stacy are friends on Facebook. We're hoping to connect up with her. Aaron is even considering communicating with her and seeing if there can't be a Facebook page set up for Schuyler Barbeau. We need to bring this man some noise and light from Gideon's Army. He said he sent me a package, a manila envelope that has a lot of his writings in it. I said, I have not received it yet. He was surprised. He said, I thought you would have got it by now.
They probably slowed it down.
They probably slowed it down, and you know how the prison always copies everything and goes through everything. So we're going to be on the lookout for any manila packages from Schuyler Barbeau. We'll be reading those into YouTube when they arrive. What else? Anything else I'm missing?
If I do a Facebook post page, I think I'll call it Free Schuyler. I don't know if I'll put his last name because Schuyler Barbeau is such a unique name. I don't know if it needs the last name too. I guess it should have both names.
It's pretty consistent with what's been done in the past for all the other political prisoners.
Yeah, we always do free.
Yeah, free. trying to remember anything else. He's very well educated on the Constitution. Of course, he was in the Marines.
He was a perfect gentleman.
Yeah, when he speaks on the phone, he's a perfect gentleman. He's very well spoken, very well educated, very well written. Spent a long time in the Marine, I think 8 years. He knows of Charles Dyer, very familiar with the Bundys. I think he was Ammon Bundy's personal bodyguard. At least I think that. We didn't talk. We didn't. Who was it? Cliven. Sorry, Cliven Bundy's.
He was by his side.
He was by his side. I don't know if I should be referring to him as personal bodyguard, but he's by his side. He's devoted his life to issues regarding restoring liberty to the United States of America. And we talked about some of his writings on Gary Hunt's website. Let's not forget that, Outpost of Freedom. We talked about, I'm reading some of the letters into YouTube. He seemed happy with that, or at least he didn't have any problems with that. And he's sending me some more. I asked him if he needed any books, or I asked him if there's anything specific about his case that he wants us to get out to please let us know. That, I described ourselves as a prison ministry in Texas for P3s, Patriot political prisoners, and that we want to make noise and shine light, and that's all we want to do. We have no other hidden agenda. We are Christian, and anything I missed, babe?
Oh yeah, somebody said he was gorgeous and wanted to know if we supported any black prisoners.
Well, we get accused of a lot of things. We don't actually seek these prisoners out, to believe it or not. I don't know how we found out about Schuyler. Do you remember?
He's on the Mail Project.
He's on the Patriot Mail Project on Facebook. And people attack us. They say all kinds of things. That comes with the territory. There is a black prisoner. I forget his name.
You forgot his name?
I know. What is his name?
He has thousands of people supporting him. He doesn't need our help.
Yeah, if you go to his Facebook page, he literally has thousands and thousands of supporters. He's a black activist.
Rudy and I usually root for the underdogs.
Well, it's just there's not that many people pulling for Schuyler, right? I mean, hardly anybody knows about him. And for instance, let's take for example, who's that guy that supposedly raped all those women in Oklahoma? Daniel Holtzclaw. Daniel Holtzclaw, he's already like nationally famous, right? He's already got Michelle Malkin with Fox News doing special stories on him. So
they don't need our help.
Yeah, it's like, what am I going to add to that? It's already a raging fire, and all we bring to the picture is making noise and shining light. So typically, for us to get involved,
if Pastor Manning or Pastor Broden were in jail, we'd help him.
Oh, no doubt about it. We'd be all over that. So for people to call us racist, to come with the territory, we're not racist. And it just goes off like water off a duck's back, But anyway, I don't know how we got off on that conversation, but that was Aaron pushing us off into a rabbit hole. But anyway, I'm going to put Schuyler Barbeau's address. We want to reach out to Stacy Barbeau. His mom, she seems like a real good mother, a huge blessing to Schuyler. A lot of times, and let me just give this analogy, because I forgot to give this analogy in our Gideon's Army call this morning, and I think it's a good analogy, and it came from Schaefer. But let's say any Patriot political prisoner. Okay, let's just imagine a Patriot political prisoner family, and the father is out swimming in the ocean, and he's got his wife and their children, and they're all swimming in the ocean. They're having a good time. They got the picnic basket back up on the shore, and they're going to have a nice picnic lunch, and a terrible, evil, gigantic great white shark swims up, and the shark starts chomping on the Patriot political prisoner, the father of the family. It's not unusual at all for the wife to grab the children and to swim back to shore and run to safety. And they don't want to get involved in fighting the shark, right? It's hard to fight the shark, and you don't expect the family to fight the shark. But
for them to take the kids and run.
It's smart. Matter of fact, from the family's perspective, it's smart for them to take the kids, save the kids, and run. Just get away from that shark. Now, the Patriot political prisoners stuck fighting the shark. And Gideon's Army is shark fighters, right? We go out and we fight sharks with the political prisoners. And we stand up and we yell the truth. And we're very bold. And we're very in your face. And we shout the truth from the rooftops. We make noise and we shine light. And so...
our kids are big enough to take care of themselves.
Our kids are big enough to take care of themselves. God has blessed them with large height, and
They're over 6'3", both of them.
yeah, they sure are. And anyway, so I'm just saying, anybody who gets involved in these patriot political fights, we typically have very thick skin. We understand what we're getting into. We've counted the cost, and I guess I got off on this because it's so unusual to see a family member actually standing up in a loud and vocal way. And Schuyler mentioned that his mom, Stacy, is his biggest supporter, and so that's so rare. And so praise God, we haven't talked to her yet. We look forward if the occasion ever arises where we can talk to her. But that is a huge blessing to have a mom who's your biggest supporter. And it kind of reminds me of Charles Dyer a little bit. Yeah, Charles Dyer. Yeah, Charles Dyer's mom is his biggest supporter too. And Schuyler knows about Charles Dyer. He mentioned him a few times, and they're both Marines. And Marines are,
Semper Fi.
Semper Fi, and stand by your brother, and the brotherhood of the Marines and things like that. My brother was a Marine, and my dad was a Marine. So anyway, I've rambled on long enough. I'm going to put Schuyler Barbeau's address on the screen. I pray you write him a letter. Let him know you're thinking about him. It will do wonders for his mental state to know that he's not in that prison in vain, and that he's not sitting there with nobody caring, and that there are people out here that care a great deal about what he's doing and the example that he's given us to stand up for freedom and liberty in this country. And we wish him only the best. We want him to be free again. We want him to win in his trial and to get back reunited with the free world and his family. All right, that's enough. God bless. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.